Hey guys, before we get to this video, we have just released a 5-part video series on how to master starts inside of the Moto Academy app. So head over to the App Store, Apple Store, Google Play Store, or go to club.themotoacademy.com and subscribe to the Moto Academy app today, where you can watch the How to Start Masterclass, all of the masterclasses that we have inside of there, and have access to all the instructional content, Jet's vlog. We got a million things going on in there. So club.themotoacademy.com, go subscribe, enjoy the video.
Yeah, what a day, huh?
What a day in a different kind of way. Less flashy in time qualifying, not as spectacular of a time, right? I forget what he qualified at Houston already, but I'm pretty sure he qualified somewhere between 7th to 10th.
Something like that.
In Tampa. Not that much faster than me. Maybe half a second faster than me, I'm pretty sure. Which is a good sign, because that tells me he's just sort of sticking to the game plan of, you know, that's not really important. If you're qualifying 8th, that's getting you a top 4 gate pick. You're going to have a good gate. That's fine. That's good enough. Crashed hard in time qualifying. Crashed actually really smart. I don't know if you saw it, but he came out. Actually, he skipped the whoop. This was really weird. He must have like missed the shift. Or I don't know what the heck happened. Skipped the whoops, went to go hit the double, got super squirrely, and then flew off the side of the face of the triple, but was flying through the air upside down, and then was smart enough and had like the air awareness to tuck his chin and to tuck, and landed on his back. Otherwise, he would have just landed on his neck or his head. So, and he landed hard. So, smart crasher. His body was able to take the hit. So that's a good sign. I know that seems like a weird thing to say, but Jet and Hunter do that often. They crash gracefully, and then even if they do still hit the ground hard, they're strong and they have muscle on them, so they can get away with it, which is important. You can't be delicate in motocross. And then goes and wins the heat. The reason I think Deegan is impressive in my mind has nothing to do with speed or talent or anything of that nature. It is just the mindset that they operate within. It is very similar to the Lawrences in my mind. I know it's a stark contrast when you're talking about, you know, flashy YouTube content creators. Like, that is very different than the Lawrences training privately at their facility and keeping quiet to themselves, and going out and just doing it. But the mindset is very similar. It really is. The conversations that I have with Brian, the conversations that I have with Haiden, all of it revolves around learning and just the process of improving. That is it. It's super interesting, because the alternative to that and the mindsets that don't work is like the fixed mindset of thinking that, pretending like, let's say you're playing a video game and your character has like all of the character traits of, you know, speed is here, endurance here, you know, whatever. There's some people that believe that they are stuck in those categories indefinitely and that there's no room for improvement, which is actually how I was raised, especially in the sport of motocross. That's how I was raised. I was constantly told that I was talented, which looking back on it, I think is a really bad thing. They think the exact opposite, where they think that it's just simply there is room to increase each of those categories forever, and there's no ceiling on any of them. So what that does is it makes it so that there is no such thing as failure. Like, if you mess up, or if there's a crash or a setback, or it's not a setback, it's like a learning experience. And even talking to Haiden and myself, or seeing him in interviews, it is always about learning. It's really interesting. To me, that is the most important piece of the puzzle. That will carry you further than absolutely anything. The Lawrences have it. I see it every single day, and it seems definitely like the whole Deegan family has it. Which is, yeah, that means he's going to do really well. There's no way around it.
Yeah, he's going to do well. I think it's it's awesome to watch. Like I was not like I didn't watch I'm not someone who watched all their videos for all these years or whatever, but I always kept an eye on it. You know, like I was always watching them every once in a while and kind of seeing what was going on. And like, it's very cool to where that kind of mindset or whatever was consistent for all this time. And it's been awesome to watch the story of like, you know, we're doing these things and thinking this way to get to this point, and now they're here, and he's got 2 fourth places in a row. Like that's, and a heat race win. Wildly impressive. Like,
yep.
I would have bet
I
would have bet he would be like an 8th place guy this year.
Same.
And then
Same.
a 4th place guy next year. And he's just blowing everybody's doors off. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just the mindset and the way that they think. I think is so important, and not many people have that. Even at the elite level, not many people have that. It's hard to. It is very, very, very hard to have that mindset in motocross. It's easier to have it in life, I feel like, to be quite honest. In motocross, where you're just constantly, you know, being proven wrong or right by results, it's hard to stick with that mindset. But yeah, I mean, did you see your boy making a vlog appearance? Somebody
Yes.
sent it to me.
Congratulations.
So that conversation, what did he say? Yeah, I don't get tired. Or I don't get arm pump. You know what I mean? That's not him bragging. That's just like somebody that works really hard and is confident in what they're doing when they're on the motorcycle. Therefore, they're not going to get tired because they ride every single day, and they're not going to get arm pump because they're not overthinking what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know where you fall on this, but I think like one of the biggest conversations with Haiden doing what he's doing right now is like, oh, well, he was like the haters, not that any of them are talking right now. The haters are like, oh, like he was given everything, like all this stuff. To me, dude, like, yeah, that might help, but I don't think it matters. Like you see guys who came from nothing, like look at Jet and Hunter. They didn't have everything handed to them, and they're at the top. Haiden had a little bit more, like had the bikes, had the stuff, but you got to do it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy that some people still think otherwise.
It is almost equally as difficult either path that you take.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
The path where it's handed to you, like Deegan,
air quotes,
could arguably be a more difficult path, because why would you have the motivation to work that hard? The path of Jet and Hunter, where you had nothing, that path is difficult because you don't have the resources, you don't have the money to be able to make things happen from a young age, and you have to just figure it out. No matter which path you take, it's going to be difficult. It's going to continue to be difficult the entire time. That's just, I guess, with some people never accept that fact or just get beaten down by it. But
that's what they have in common, is the mindset. Like
Yep.
what they didn't have in common was how they got there, but they had one thing in common. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's certainly how I look at it. I don't really care about how fast he's going at the moment or talent that anybody has. I don't really believe in any of that stuff. He's going to do well. You could just tell by the first 2 races and just watching the way that they operate. It's interesting. Yeah, it's cool.
He's 3rd in the points. Isn't that kind of funny?
He is?
He's 3rd in the points.
Wow.
I know it'll be interesting. There's how many rounds left on the East Coast? Like 6, 7, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. Now, my biggest question, of course, is like, what happens when you don't get a 4th place?
They'll handle it just fine.
You think so?
Yeah. It's going to happen. It'll probably happen next race for all we know. I mean, especially a Triple Crown 3-race format, he's going to have a bad race. They know how to handle that type of stuff. Again, you can tell just by talking to them. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, go download them. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I think that's it. Go download them there, give them a listen. If you want to watch full episodes, which I tell you what, it's even better to do that, go to club.themotoacademy.com, because Moto Academy subscribers inside of the app have exclusive access to watch the entire episodes. And not only that, the subscribers actually can send in their questions to be answered on the podcast as well. club.themotoacademy.com. Go subscribe.